Afternoon intuitives. You know, been a few days. I had a lot of odds and ends that I had to take care of after work, meeting with my accountant, 6 month checkup for my rebuilt knee with my orthopedic surgeon, and I got a haircut because I needed one, so that's why I haven't been making videos the past few days. Welcome new subscribers. Thanks for subscribing. Don't think about it too much, just stay subscribed and see if the algorithm can be a little kinder to me once I break 1,000, and hopefully these videos that are made to help people will reach, a few more people, because YouTube's not going to do any favors to a nobody, making videos that call out the establishment, the old boys club, the baby boomer status quo, call out things like narcissistic abuse and double standards and all the stuff I rant on about. you know, they're not going to do me any favors with that, because they protect those people because they're in the club and they have money. So, as you probably figured out, this is going to be a narcissism video. Uh, Something that's been on my mind for a few days, something I've had experience with, and it is that the narcissist will make you feel like you can't ask for anything. And I've touched on this topic in other videos, and I'm sure I said that it deserved its own video, and then I forgot about it. And when I do that, and if I say like, oh yeah, I got to make a video on this topic, and I seem to not get around to it, remind me of that in the comments, and I'll do it probably. So, in this sense, the narcissist, makes you feel like you can't ask for anything. Basically, like that you have to put up with whatever treatment you're being given, no matter what they're doing to you, no matter how exploitative the thing is that they're asking you to do, whether it's illegal or not, unsafe, you name, the context. In the eyes of the narcissist, you the target, especially, and this is, in like relationships, family, and of course work. You just have to put up with it because, they you can't ask for anything. You're nothing, and they're everything, and they essentially almost own you. And you see this a lot. This is something, that happens, well, throughout your life if it's in a familial setting, and I'll get into that. In work, most likely 25 and under, this will happen when you're just getting started out, particularly in certain industries, high paid ones that you have to be kind of pretty to be in. They'll really, really push the envelope there and assume they can get away with it, unless like some hothead 19-year-old punches you in the face and throws you up against the wall. But not many guys are going to do that to somebody of esteem and merit and money. But it does happen, I assure you. So, in a family setting, in this type of thing, the black sheep, the narcissist, will essentially tell you that you're not allowed to ask for anything, in the sense that the rights that others have, you don't have. Like, you have to put up with whatever treatment, be it like people making assertions about you, completely slandering your character based on no merit or even specificity. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Specificity, yeah, that. And the narcissist will defend it. Like, comes to my mind, this is a random one, but one time I was at a cousin's birthday party. I was like 10 at the time, and being an INFJ, I wanted alone time. And they live up in the mountains in an area it's known for like fossils from like the pre-Cambrian era. So I was an archaeology nerd, and I wanted to be an archaeologist at the time. So I was, like going through the woods, kind of doing my own thing, looking for fossils, and I found some, by the way. But you know, they went running to the boomers, and they're like, well, they were doing something they weren't supposed to be doing, and somehow blamed it on me, and I was blamed for being off by myself. So if I was by myself and not interacting with them, how could I be the ringleader behind whatever they were doing that I wasn't around for? Bit of a, logical paradox there. And everything was my fault, and I didn't know what the hell, my boomer mother, who lives solely to get the approval of her fellow boomers. She's like still the like the semi-popular girl on the fringe who wants to be at the cool kid table, and she'll be that till the day she dies. She has no identity. She believes what the other narcissists tell her, and whoever talks to her last, she believes. Think Trump. Trump's like that too. But in this instance, I was like I said, I'm like 10 years old at the time. I'm like, well, what did I, you know, what am I responsible for? And you know what she said? She's like, well, they said everything. And then I was getting angry because I think, understandably so. I'm like, well, what's everything? That's not saying anything. Like a cop can't arrest you and be like, what am I under arrest for? Everything. That would get thrown out of court like that. There has to be some specific thing they have to reference. But no, she's like, well, they said everything, and that's all I need. Well, it doesn't say anything. But of course, being the black sheep, if somebody says, not even in this case, because we're not even talking about if somebody accuses you of doing something. All they have to do is lay out a vague word like he did something. What? I don't know. Everything. And that was enough. That was enough. That's how you're not allowed to ask for anything. So this is in this instance, wasn't even allowed to ask for specifics on what I supposedly did. I was just told, I was asking for too much to basically be told what the crime I was being charged with was. It was just you're in trouble because we said so. We are baby boomers. Yeah, that would be a good example of what I'm talking about, like in the family setting. I want to get more into the work thing, and narcissistic parents will defend narcissistic bosses, especially if, big surprise, if they're both baby boomers. Boomers always defend boomers. Their loyalty, first and foremost, is to their generation, not to their family, not to their friends, not to their profession, not to their religion or like race, ethnic background, whatever. It is loyalty first and foremost is to the generation. And that is talked about. I don't know how much at length, but it is talked about in Bruce Cannon Gibney's A Generation of Sociopaths: How Baby Boomers Betrayed America. It's on Audible too. Everybody born after 1964 should read and/or listen to that book. He puts a lot of the pieces together where it's like, oh, I didn't know it went that deep. Okay, so you know, in this situation, a narcissistic boss will treat you the same way. Like, for example, comes to my mind the summer of 2002. I'm 15, working grounds crew at a golf club, and again, 15 labor laws at the time. I don't know what they are today, but labor laws at the time said that for those under 18, and I was under 16 even, you can work, was it 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and this is when school's out. 8 hours a day, no more than 8 hours a day, no more than 44 hours a week. So essentially, I should have been working 8 hours a day for 5 days, and then worked one of the weekend days a half day. But this was a 7 day a week job, and I was working 10 to 11 hours a day during the week, and then 8 hours a day on the weekend. And I complained about that. And my only complaint was I didn't care about working the 11 hour during the week. I wanted one of the days off, either Saturday or Sunday. But me, so like, how dare a 15-year-old say I'll only work 65 hours a week, and not, I do the math right, 55. Yeah, 65 hours a week instead of like 70 to 73. I know, so entitled, and it was shit job, shit work, shit money, but all oh no, that's a great job, and 5 a.m. starts are great because I said so, and the boss can do no wrong, quote. And I don't want to sound like racist or anything right now, but I'm going to quote what my father said at the time, so keep in mind these are his words and not mine. He said, he's like, it don't matter what it is, if the boss tells you to do something, you reply, yes'm. Yeah, and that's basically I was constantly being told, to do things that were blatant safety violations. Like, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that a 15-year-old shouldn't be up in the bucket of a backhoe with a pole sawing tree limbs near power lines. And again, no safety equipment whatsoever. And a lot of times we were doing things that were like just blatantly not safe, and especially for people that are underage. And not to mention the labor laws. But, I was constantly told that, oh no, this is a great job and you should be so lucky. But when I asked her specifics about what was so great about it, they couldn't say because the hours sucked, the work sucked, there was no advancement in it, the pay sucked. In my mind, there was nothing, the only thing redeemable about it was the fact that it was like 2 miles away, so I could ride my bike there. Oh, fun. So, yeah, that's another example. And you'll get that later in life too as you're an adult. A lot of times, the narcissistic boss will get you, to not just do things that are unsafe, but also, you will be told you essentially can't say no to straight up abuse. As you all know, I was bullied and hazed at the Arlington County Fire Department. The news articles are down there. You should check them out. Yeah. But even something like that, that's another example. And this is the fallacy, especially when one is in their dream job, you're willing to put up with just about anything. I think, you know, uh, all the women that were, sexually exploited and abused in Hollywood can speak about that even better than I can. I don't know, even though my, identity and sense of self-purpose were highly wrapped up in being a firefighter, although it's not nearly as a coveted job as being an actor. But I'd rather be a real hero than play one. But that's just me, although the pay's a lot shittier. Anyway, so as the treatment I faced at the fire department, and I'm not going to get too deep into that now because I'll be here for 5 hours. But basically, I was essentially told that I was not allowed to speak up, that I had to take whatever abuse was coming at me simply because the person who was abusing me had been there for 15 years, and more importantly, you know, that he had uncles that worked there, his grandfather, his cousins. So he's the old boys club, and his membership in the old boys club in practice gave him some sort of immunity that he not only didn't have to follow any of the various regulations the fire department had, as there were many because it is a paramilitary structure, but that he could treat others no matter in whatever manner he wanted with impunity. And I was not his first victim. He usually went after women, it seems. I know at least of one previous victim that I spoke to, and I've heard of multiple others. I didn't get it. I wasn't able to track them down. So that's another thing. And the establishment, the system, will defend these kind of people because if you are labeled by somebody in the club, as a target, the club will protect itself. The club will protect other members in the club. It doesn't matter what the person in the club did. All that matters is that they're in the club. So the narcissist will make you feel, the target, like you have no rights, that they can do whatever they want to you with impunity, that you are not even allowed to speak up and say no, that, the rights that most normal people are at least supposed to have, you don't have them, and you just have to deal with it. And you're wrong. You're the villain if you speak up, if you, essentially follow the chain of command in my circumstance and have these matters investigated. You have no right to do that. He can do whatever he wants to you. How dare you have him investigated? What he's doing is not wrong because he's doing it to you. If somebody was doing it to him, it would be wrong. Get it? And that's the mindset that the narcissist will put you in, that it's okay what's happening to you, that the abuse is okay because it's happening to you. It's not happening to somebody important like another baby boomer. Then oh my God, what a sin. Oh, why isn't, like, call in the Red Cross, the news media, the National Guard, like, stop the world, like they try to do when a travesty happens to a baby boomer. And by travesty, I mean like a 30-year-old garage door opener not working. That qualifies as a travesty because it happened to one of them. And, as we all know, that we exist to serve them. Humanity itself has only existed to reach the point of the baby boomers, which is the pinnacle. Everything has been leading to them. They are, the prophesied return of the Anunnaki or the Viracocha, the Olympians, all of them. They are, they are the gods returned, or so they want us to believe. But that's something you have to remember, is that you can speak up, even if the people around you will make excuses for those in the club. A lot of people don't care about the club. You have to remember that about, the old boys club. There's more than one, but if you're not in it, you don't care about it. And a lot of times they will try to put you in a position where, they're like, well, we're better than you. We can do this, and you can't say anything. And they think they have immunity, but they're so insulated within their little old boys club bubble that they don't realize that when you go report them outside of the bubble, then there's things they can't answer for, and they have to. And that, they're not really as important or infallible as they may seem when they're forced to deal with forces outside of their little club, because they've become so insulated in their own little world where they're, above the law, so to say. So you can speak up. It is hard, and it will be a process, but I assure you, for your own sanity and for potential future victims, you have to do it. Do not let the narcissist make you think like you like you have no right to speak up, or that you cannot say no, or that you are lesser just because they say so. I know some of this has been a review from other videos, but it's important stuff, and you are allowed to ask for things. Even if you are a target of abuse, you are entitled to, like, well, especially we'll say at work, you are entitled to all the professionalism that anyone in that profession is granted in that situation. Doesn't matter if you have 2 weeks on the job or 2 decades. Professionalism has to be maintained for everybody in that profession. It's, in my case, it's like you can't haze and discriminate a firefighter just because he's been there 6 months. Like, oh, if you did that to somebody in 10 years, it'd be bad. But he's only been there 6 months. You can treat him however you want. That's not how it works. And that is one of the small victories I've gotten thus far in speaking up, is that the firefighters union, one of the vice presidents, somebody high up, made a blanket statement, and a lot of chiefs jumped on it, where they said, the era of probationary firefighters, i.e. new hires, the days of probationary firefighters being seen unheard and not able to say no are over. So, small victory, but a victory nonetheless.